America is a special game, a unique game, played nowhere else on earth. It is a rare game. The men who play it make it so.
Hey, everyone in, let's go. Huddle up on three. 1, 2, 3, huddle up.
I can't never play football before. These guys are not.
You hear me?
They breathe just like we do.
Yes, sir.
They sweat just like we do.
Do you hear me?
They went through tour days. We went through tour days in 110-degree heat.
Yes, sir.
I want you to hit everything to move. If the ref gets in your way, you hit him.
Okay, then, let's play.
But they're cheating us too. They're against us too. This is our team. This is us. Let's go right now. Let's get it off now. Let's go.
Back-to-back, man. You do not see this in college football.
But the Georgia Bulldogs bludgeon their way to back-to-back. Glory, glory, Georgia, as the fight song says.
For the lead. Butker up, got it. And the Kansas City Chiefs have won Super Bowl 57. And now, welcome everyone to the Huddle Up Podcast.
You are looking live.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Huddle Up Podcast. It is Tuesday night. It is November the 14th, 2023, and we are continuing to plug our way through the football season. And we are glad that you join us here for another one. If you're with us live, give us a like and a share. We would certainly appreciate that. We are on the Huddle Up Podcast Facebook feed, the YouTube channel, and the Twitch channel. So make sure you are subscribed wherever you need to be. You can also head over on all of our social medias. We're at Huddle Up Podcast on Facebook, Twitter, and TikTok, and hit the link tree. That'll get you everywhere you need to be in relation to the Huddle Up Podcast. And check out our merchandise over at tpublic.com, where you can hit the clat, and rightly so.
Yes.
I'm pretty good at this thing, Kyle. But yeah, you can
rightly so.
You can do that. Check out all the merchandise over there as well. Certainly would appreciate that. You know, stickers, mugs, notepads, wall art, t-shirts, sweatshirts, all of that, getting you ready for the holiday season. No Matt for this week. He'll be off this
Figures.
week. And
let's go buy more cigars. It's cool.
Hey man, you got to do what you got to do. No fault there. But yeah, we definitely want to welcome in Ernest EJ Christian. How we doing this week, my guy?
And still season 3, this season's consistent panelists here every week. This saying.
That's all right. I don't think
Not trying to brag.
No,
Not trying to brag.
I guess he didn't
Not
miss
trying
a
to
week last
brag. Vote for
week.
me.
Well, yes, you are. First off, you're a liar because you are trying to brag.
But again, if you consider who he is doing an impression of, that's meta as hell that he would be lying as he does it.
You're not wrong.
How you doing, Jim? More great performance art by Ernest Christian as Trump on a show hosted by Woke Jim. There's so many levels here.
It's wild, isn't it?
So many things that trigger
Going on,
Jim.
Kevin?
One of them. That's one of them right there.
Student of the game, Kyle Nash. How we doing, my friend?
Honor, joy, and privilege. By the way, it's something, even as I covered that Super Bowl 57 where you had the Butker clip winning the day with the field goal and all that other stuff, I didn't hear anybody talking about ball don't lie when they were all complaining about the pass interference call. It was just all the See, this is why the ball don't lie is the dumbest crap anybody can say. It's just the stupidest damn phrase. I've always hated it, and you've given me this opportunity to express that tonight. So thank you, Jim.
Hey, I appreciate
Why do you hate
you.
it so much? I don't get it. Because it's stupid. Just because an official missed a call or you suck and it still goes your way doesn't mean the ball lied or anything like that.
It's just tongue in cheek, buddy. It's okay. Have fun with it.
Not tongue in cheek. People believe that. Like what you've just shown me is that you haven't played pickup basketball and on any court on any hard top.
Ball don't lie, buddy. Just saying.
I love how anytime Kyle brings up a valid argument why he doesn't like some sort of phrase or anything like that. You have no intelligent response. You just repeat the phrase that he doesn't like.
Well, see, this is what the people need to come to accept, Jen. Like when in war, like General Cornwallis, for example. Now, granted, he didn't actually deliver the sword. He actually, that's a whole other question. But typically, the general who's surrendering will bring his sword and hand it to the invading or winning general. His jokes are the sword he hands me, letting me know that I have in fact won and he is surrendering. So it's okay.
That is fair.
I don't have a strong opinion on that borderline thing anyway, to be honest with you. It's what it is. Like,
I've literally never thought about it, so I won't.
Of course, you're not a basketball guy. Of course, you wouldn't think about that.
You're not wrong.
Sixers fan.
Wow.
Go Sixers.
Go Heat, bitch.
They look good though. They look really good. So the Heat. The Heat are about to win 6 in a row tonight.
Yeah, man. Sixers season's still alive.
Well, I thought the Heat season was over. What just happened?
Well, they won 5 in a row, but they make it 6 tonight if they hold on.
You know what? Do me a favor for EJ's sake. Go hit the button for him if you don't mind, Jim.
This button?
Go Heat, bitch.
God knows he's not going to say it.
Thank you, Dwayne.
All right, let's get to this. Let's look back at the weekend that was. I love that we get Kyle's people eyebrow every week. I'm not gonna lie. And for that, Kyle.
What can I say except
as we do each week on the show, we look back at the weekend that was, and we think and talk about the things that were good, the things that were bad, the things that were ugly. Because of said people's eyebrow. Kyle, we'll start with you. What was good this past weekend?
I can't even front on that. You know what's really special about the people's eyebrow, though, Jim? Have you ever thought about that?
What? No, I haven't.
It doesn't matter what you think is special about the people's eyebrow,
very
Jim.
good.
shut up, bitch?
You want to know what matters? All the people who were talking that ish about the Texans. Good golly almighty gravy. And by the way, apologies to Mikey Byrne, but the Texans coming out and handling business and beating the Bengals, sure, does it reduce the chances of me covering a playoff game in Duval again? Probably, but
slightly.
Oh, CJ coming.
Yeah, but listen, CJ Stroud doing good things is one thing, and that's what I predicted. But what he's doing is pretty amazing stuff, and I got to throw out there. I've not thrown enough props to the Texans, I think, this year, commensurate with what they've done, even surpassing my optimism, having Titans fans straight up talk trash all over me. And then on their shows where they claim to be touring the NFC South, all can only come out and talk trash now on Trevor Lawrence after playing the 49ers instead of propping up CJ Stroud. You know, shouts to the general himself, Mike Patton, hashtag I said it. But yeah, instead of talking trash on other people, can't we just talk about how people are doing good once? I mean, must we all be Stephen A. Smith or Skip Bayless or Kendrick Perkins, right, EJ? Well, hey, at least I didn't call Trevor Lawrence racist or something. Anyways.
Ooh.
But yeah, no, definitely what Houston's doing this year is I mean, nobody predicted it, obviously. Certainly.
I mean,
you should be better. You didn't say be this good.
Better, but I mean,
yeah, not this though.
This quickly to this level, you know, beating teams that are very good. Like, yeah, they're, and again, you know, breaking the being the exception to the Ohio State quarterback rule, notwithstanding, CJ Stroud obviously has been spectacular.
I mean, do you think Joey Burrow, though he didn't technically play there, being air quotes good, is like the one that started to break the curse?
Maybe. Wasn't there a year where like the guy on the Madden cover got hurt in like week 1, but came back and had like a strong playoff showing? So they're like, it was kind of the curse, but not really. So like, yeah, maybe Joe Burrow got that ball rolling to break the fuck-eye curse.
I see what you did there, Big Jim, by the way.
EJ.
Well, let's do this then. Stick to your good real quick, because this is the conversation we've been having a lot last week. Kind of started, and
you're just going to dive right in this.
We might as well. You already touched on it a little bit now.
You're good. I just
because I look. I was a little humble this morning on the Earnest Speaker podcast. Just give a report today, Bing.
What
about,
do you do?
Well, remember, there was no one in media prior to me last week even hinting the idea
Dude,
of
dude.
CJ. Wait, hold on.
No, you're going to want to hear this. Let me stop.
Okay, go ahead.
Screw humble. The facts are the national media weren't talking about this until you did. Continue.
Yes, that even hinting the idea of CJ Stroud, possible MVP candidate, and then after this week, it's now getting louder. Yeah. I was first, guys, for the record.
You were
just saying, as someone that was in media and this other stuff. Yeah, and we need to have a conversation because I know we've been having that now with Jim and I on social media, a couple of people here, and
Nick Wright listens to EJ Christian.
Right. I am not saying that he's a front runner because I'm still Tyreek Hill. But
by the way, if certain other people still are as well, if you happen to listen to the Student of the Game midseason awards last week.
There we go. But if I'm formulating a list right now of 5 candidates right now through 10 weeks, I'm hard pressed to take CJ Stroud off that list at this point. He's got to be there.
Smoke crack, don't you?
Jim, you have a problem with that?
That was for Matt.
Okay. Look, I won't deny that he has been a critical part for what the Texans have been doing. I don't know if I'm, because you're saying a list of 5
candidates.
Okay. So on a list of 5, maybe he's there.
You've already won.
When it comes down to the end of the season, there's generally 3 finalists that are announced.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, like, until he enters the group of 3, like saying he gets consideration, saying he's on a list, saying okay, like, and again, I will at least give you the credit of the fact that you put a numerical amount on your list, because like other people will say like, oh, he's on my list of candidates. Well,
how big's the list?
Exactly. How big is your list?
He's number
15, 20, then sure. If your list is 15 or 20 long, then yeah, I would certainly have him on mine as well. But if it just depends where where does the limit exist? Like
but Jim, here's the thing also too.
No, hold on.
Go ahead.
I think this is the move here. I'll go pure straight Big Jim Neese. Name me 5 better.
Tyreek Hill.
Okay.
Christian McCaffrey.
McCaffrey, sure.
Good stuff.
I would say Aaron Rodgers is more valuable to the Jets.
By proxy.
Wow. What if he comes out and lays an egg? That possibility is just as much on the table.
That is. Then we adjust.
This is fluid. It's tough. And I guess my point here, Jim, you did 5. Name me a quarterback that's played more consistent through 10 weeks than CJ Stroud, because I can't say Pat Mahomes. I can't say Jalen Hurts. He had a little bit of a stretch where he was rough. Jared Goff got a little bit of like looks, he's an MVP. And
now suddenly you scoff at Goff.
Okay.
So
it's like you said this on your the episode where your wife verbally abused you. No, you said this on your Sunday reaction pod. Which great addition having her on there, because finally somebody who speaks intelligently is on your feed.
I married her.
But the game report is something you've already quoted and enjoyed. Okay.
I mean, like Kyle, I'm talking about people who are like outside of this immediate
family.
That's
my fault.
You set that up. But I don't, anybody that was because I assume you're talking like between weeks 1 and 5, they were having golf in the conversation.
Yeah.
Like we were talking about earlier in the year.
Yeah.
Look, anybody who's talking MVP talk within the first 5 weeks, stop it. There's no point. The first third of the season, stop. It's a fool's errand, man. Just don't do it. It's silly. I honest to God think that talking about it at basically the halfway point of the season is a little silly, because there's literally about the same number of games yet to be played than have been played.
It's still a long time too.
That's a bit offensive though.
It is. I mean, it's certainly a better conversation now than it was in week 3. Okay. Like, so like I'll agree with it there, but again, like there's also, and I'm not saying that it'll happen because there's no reason for me to believe, based on what I've seen up to this point, that it will. But you have a young team, a new head coach, and a rookie quarterback, like getting into these critical moments. Like it could very easily, the foundation start to crack under them and the pressure get to them. This
Absolutely.
year.
Again, it's a fluid argument.
Case for 7 wins, just like I called too. They could only be
Right, of course. They could tail off after this week. I mean, certainly anything's possible. It's a fluid argument. But again,
so yeah, okay. So the fact that you're quantifying the fact that you're narrowing it to a list of 5, because I think when you like tweeted out and I threw the red flag and the yellow flag and every flag known to man at
it's me, of course, that's why.
Well, first off, it's you. So I have to do my diligence, but also because like when you said that, I think for me, I go, the thought hits my head of, at the end of the year we get 3 finalists.
Yeah.
And I'm not ready to put him in a top 3 right now.
But you can't put him in 5?
Yeah, but
if you want to put him in the top 5, I won't argue with it today.
You say that, but you haven't gotten you didn't mention a third guy. You put him right now. You got 2.
I wasn't prepared for the assignment.
That's my point. Because who else has played? I mean, Lamar Jackson has had a couple duds this week. It was, really big turnovers to cost him the game against Cleveland. I mean, again, this team is 5-4.
If you talk consistently, I might look at AJ Brown before I look at.
Okay, that's a good one. That's a good one too. Also,
that is a very interesting one. By the way, EJ, that's a bad response to
why is that
performance and shit on everybody's entire season. That's ridiculous. Okay, don't do that. Don't be that guy.
He's had a couple games this year, though, it's been kind of rough.
Now, in your defense, no, he's had a lot of games where his receivers have just murdered him, okay? When the receivers catch the ball, look at what the scores are, guys, okay?
I mean, if you're going to play the couple games argument, C.J. Stroud's had a couple games where he's thrown for, 190 or just over 200 and maybe 1 touchdown. Those aren't MVP numbers, though.
But he's not making mistakes.
No.
Okay,
no,
that's the difference. EJ's holding mistakes against a guy in 1 week, but and by the way, the mistakes in question happen to be against the most underrated defense in the goddamn league. Listen, I'm looking forward to Texans 49ers. We'll see what CJ Stroud's really made of at that point, okay? Not that I'm commenting on any particular game that I was just personally at this past Sunday at Everbank Stadium, but I might be referring to such a game I was at Everbank Stadium writing for the Jaguar Report. Bing. Thank you, Jim. Well done.
By the way, there was
hold on. So, with all that being said, the reason why you can't throw that at CJ Stroud is we just established through 10 weeks of football, he's been the most consistent quarterback performer. So which the bleep is it?
Let me get to Jim real quick, though. He's only had 2 games when he was under 200 yards. One of those 2 games, he had 199. Okay? The other games, 242, 384, 280, 306, 249, 470, 356. 2 picks, 16 touchdowns this year.
And one of the picks was given right back, so it doesn't even really count.
Yeah.
I mean,
who has been here's the thing also, too, with CJ Stroud. Who has been better at this position through 10 weeks than him?
See,
I can't find it.
Now you're just repeating yourself.
I'm saying.
Right. We've been over this.
But but my point.
The only arguments I ever hear against CJ Stroud are something that's a technicality. And I'm not picking on you, Jim. You aren't the only one to do this sort of thing. I'm more specific to Stephen A. Smith, who got dunked on by whoever the baseball guy is that's somehow on his show and is a big idiot too, that also thinks Michigan should be punished. The guy that's not Feinbaum. Anyways. But
I've lost count of who are idiots in media with the Michigan discourse. So, pardon me if I can't find the name at this point.
You can hit the clat for my response to that statement,
and rightly so.
But the only arguments I hear are technicalities that have nothing to do with what the hell's going on in the field of play. Well, at the end of the year, they usually only have 3. That doesn't mean he's not somebody who should be in the conversation of being a finalist. A, B. Well, rookies have never done it before. Can you name the last rookie who's been a most valuable player in the National Football League?
I know the answer.
Hand down, EJ. I'm not talking to you, asshole. Okay.
Yeah, I appreciated the Stephen A. impersonation.
Thank you. Okay. That's a bad argument.
Do you know the answer?
Period.
No.
Shut the fuck up, EJ.
Shut
Shut the fuck up, EJ.
Stop talking over people.
But that's the thing. There's no good argument that regards anything in the goddamn game of football. Okay? You want to go over their schedule and think it's a little weak? Maybe. But I'll tell you this. The rest of the year, actually, wait, haven't the Texans already played the 49ers? I need to check that too. I'm saying that.
I can't remember. They might have.
So all of the above to say, I mean, nobody has a good football reason to be critical of CJ Stroud, let alone him as a damn MVP candidate.
No, and to be fair, he didn't even play the 49ers this year. So there you go. And to my point about it, the reason that I put any qualifier on top 3 versus top 5 versus in the conversation is when I read EJ's tweet, to me, that's where my brain went. Like, to me, my brain went Heisman, MVP finalist versus like guy in conversation. So that's the only reason that I quantified that to 3. But yeah, certainly going to be wild to see what they do the rest of the year. EJ, what's your good from this past weekend?
Well, my good is actually another quarterback, and I gotta, the narrative's changed a little bit the last couple of weeks, and I got to, especially after last night. Russell Wilson is playing a little better. He's actually had quietly a solid year.
Enough to be in the good. I mean, like, listen,
it's good. They won 3 in a row.
This is a hurdle that's so low. I'm pretty sure Jim could clear it without.
But again, we were literally 3 weeks ago talking about this guy being. People were talking about him being benched 3 weeks ago. Okay.
Well, trade
contract.
I don't know how much I heard about benched. If
that was out there. Trust me, it was out there because the contract, all the stuff.
People are idiots. Let's listen. Let's.
I was going to say where exactly was it out there? Was it people?
Well, I know Nick Wright mentioned it a couple times on his show a couple weeks ago.
Thank you.
I mean, I'm just saying. It's been out there. A couple other. Anyway, the point is, he's played better the last couple weeks. And to be honest, he hasn't really played bad this year.
By the way, the irony that Nick Wright is the one that says he should have been benched in what just happened with his Chiefs is
2 weeks ago. Exactly. No, but he's had actually a really solid year. All quiet as kept. He has the best touchdown turnover ratio this year. He has 18 touchdowns already this year through 10 weeks. He's playing better. Look, he's not the same Russ that he was in Seattle. Obviously, that's clearly. But he's probably at least 3/4 of the way back now, at least in the last couple of weeks, based on performance. He's moving the ball a lot better. He's actually moving around the pocket like he used to in Seattle. Look, I'm not saying Denver's a playoff team and all that. I don't think they get in the playoffs, but they're playing much better now. The defense improved the last couple of weeks. Big win against Buffalo last night. They're in the playoff hunt right now as a result. So Rusty's my good.
Yeah, I mean, in the hunt. I mean, I will keep in mind that 2 of those 3 wins are against the Packers and a Bills team that is seemingly teetering on coming off the rails. I mean,
but they beat the Chiefs, though. Don't forget that.
They did that. I said 2 of the 3 wins.
I'm just saying, though, don't
against a bad Packers team and a Bills team coming off the rails. That's all I said.
Well,
yes, they beat the Chiefs, absolutely. Like,
and the Bills, by the way, back to back, they didn't have a letdown like, let's say, Oklahoma State did.
I mean, yeah, definitely. Definitely looks better than he did last year. Not going to be hard to beat that performance. Yeah, we'll see where it goes the rest of the way.
Yeah. You're good.
I'll go to college football. I was going to talk about Josh Dobbs getting a win. That's a crazy story in and of itself. But I'll go this one. Because I also thought about going to James Madison going 10-0, but and the stupid NCAA rule keeping me out of bowl contention. But I'll go to this one, and I'm sure I kind of lied to EJ because I said I wasn't going to go this route. The University of Michigan basically showing Penn State their playbook for 2.5 quarters, and Penn State couldn't do a goddamn thing to stop them. The team they didn't record a pass. Yes, I know they threw one and there was a pass interference, but did not officially record a pass after like 7 minutes into the second quarter. and Penn State couldn't do a goddamn thing about it. The allegedly number 1 or something
Allegedly.
rushing defense in the country couldn't do a thing about it. Like, and I mean, look, I'm gonna say it. The decision to literally just run and run and run and run and just keep running felt very intentional. When for like the last couple weeks the rhetoric is, well, when you know what a team's going to do, it's easier to stop them.
Allegedly.
Is it? Is it?
Allegedly.
Because I mean, Michigan kind of said no, it's not. But yeah, you know what? We can, if we want to talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly of everything surrounding 24 hours in the Big Ten from Friday afternoon till Saturday, we can. I'll leave that kind of up to you guys. But for a team to board a plane in Ann Arbor, not really knowing what's going on, probably having some sort of an idea that there was a chance that Jim Harbaugh wasn't going to be on the sideline. But to get that decision via social media because Tony Petitti is a fucking coward.
Tell the real feel.
And then, you know, you try and go through the appeal process. But again, because Tony Petitti and the Big Ten are fucking cowards to do it at 4 p.m. on a Friday federal holiday.
Oh, that's right.
You know, to try to get the appeal process and it doesn't go through. And you basically, according to Joel Klatt and Jenny Taft and Brady Quinn, who have all said, like, even Saturday morning, big noon kickoff on Fox, nobody had any clue if or when Jim Harbaugh was just going to end up at the stadium and get that appeal to go through until literally about game time. So the fact that there was so much in the air and that Michigan team went into a hostile environment, I get it. Penn State, not a top 10 team, overrated as fuck, but for them to go into that environment, because that is a tough place to play. And for Sherrone Moore to not only have to operate as their offensive coordinator, but now their head coach, to say, F you, this is what we're going to do for 2.5 quarters. I bet you can't stop us. And Penn State couldn't. That's a fucking good.
And that was cool.
That is a good.
That was cool.
That's actually kind of hot there.
The only thing I will say about the whole thing, it was part of my bad actually, is that, don't stop playing victim though. Stop the fucking crying after the game.
No,
crying, the coach crying.
No.
Hell no.
No.
Hell no.
Cut that
First
shit.
off,
No.
no. The crying, stop. The crying is because you have a guy who is passionate about the players that are on his team who have been put through the fucking ringer with this bullshit because the Big Ten is fucking coward. You want to suspend a guy? Suspend him midweek when they have a chance to prepare.
That I agree with. That I agree with you on.
That's why there's emotion, EJ. That's why he's going out and crying after a game. Because he has to see, those coaches are seeing what these players are being put through by this stuff. And yeah, you can blame Michigan. You can say that they're victims of their own cause. But the bottom line is, in the Big Ten statement, in the letter to the University of Michigan, they said there is nothing that proves and links anything to Jim Harbaugh. So why is he the one being suspended?
Yeah, that was a bad look. Especially the timing.
Is it because they're vegetarians and he bought a player a hamburger?
Well, I mean, that's another.
That's like can we also add to the fact that this is another instance of just complete bullshit being thrown Michigan's way, just so somebody else on the panel here can talk about this without getting hit with the Marge. Like this is a bad take by you, EJ. I'm sorry. Like
the crime was kind of like a little much, though. I mean, come on. I get it.
Mean?
That's getting caught up in the emotion, dude. I'm sorry. No, I'm
all the times you come out with some of these tool times. You want to talk about a little much, motherfucker? Okay, like what are we doing here?
Hey, listen, it is what it is on a 2-time. You just do
Bro, football is an emotional game, and when you have a guy that's invested, and when again we don't know, right? We don't know. Michigan hasn't been given their due process. They haven't been given their date in court yet. They haven't been given an opportunity to speak on the matter. Why? Because they're under an investigation.
So let me use this to build on this too. And by the way, I brought this up as a point talking with Mark Moses on 1560 AM, The Fan in Melbourne, Bing. Here's the part that's really stupid about all of it. Whatever happens here, EJ, I know, it's a bit much. I'm not even touching that right now. We could spend hours on that, okay? Here's where it's at. You know why this is actually a colossal mistake. Now, part of this, you'll be like, Kyle, you're just copying this from Joel Klatt. And rightly so. See what I did there? Hit the Klatt, Jim.
And rightly so.
That's so meta because I'm copying him as I'm copying him with a soundbite of him with a t-shirt inspired by him. Depth, motherfuckers. No, but here's what it is. Over and above the fact that this sets up the slippery slope of people just thinking something happens and now stuff's going to get levied is a whole other question. What about if they're found innocent? Y'all remember Obi-Wan Kenobi from the original Star Wars trilogy in episode 4?
Jim, are you a Star Wars guy?
Yes.
Okay.
I've already shouted, shut the fuck up at you.
Stop talking over people.
Hell, like, if I want to get talked over that much, I'd have the evil twin on the show. Shouts to Sean, who's a good guy. I like it. But back to it. So in the event that Michigan gets found innocent of all charges through whatever an investigation that they can't find a link, you have created a monster that's far more dangerous than Ghost Obi-Wan Kenobi. Alec Guinness will be handsome compared to the fucking monster coming out of blue. And what are you going to do? What you gonna do, brother, when the blue monster is talking shit on Twitter all day on you?
And that's a great point, man, because so here's the deal. The reason that Tony Petitti and the Big Ten made the ruling they did on Friday is because a group of Big Ten schools formed a mob and forced his hand. And what happens?
Real quick, if you could put up Dylan's comment, because you're kind of answering his question.
Yeah, he says, Devin says, I have a question. Why hasn't Ohio State gotten punished yet? They were involved. I heard they started all this sign stealing. I'll disagree on, but yeah, there's the report that Michigan has proof that Ohio State and Rutgers were providing advanced scouting to Purdue for the Big Ten title game last year. But you don't see the University of Michigan kicking the door of Tony Petitti's office and asking for a suspension. Hell, I would just like to see the investigation open, but maybe that's just maybe the Big Ten can't walk and chew gum at the same time and do two investigations together.
Whoa,
but
hey.
I'm neither here nor there.
You seem really bad about this.
But no, it is because it's frustrating because like there should be due process here. Like we are innocent until proven guilty, right? But and to the point that Kyle made about opening a dangerous door is what happens when it's Ohio State that is accused of something? What happens when it's Penn State? What happens when it's Minnesota? What happens when
hold on, haven't we seen Penn State? I mean, in a different context.
Well, that's true. Yeah, and to everybody who said this is the biggest scandal to hit the Big Ten ever, stop. Should stop. But what happens if incoming USC becomes the target? Like,
oh God.
Like we don't like the new guys. Let's all form a mob and get them in trouble. Like, you're now setting a dangerous example here. Like, so a couple comments here from YouTube. It says Harbaugh was suspended because it was a lighter response than forcing the team to forfeit games. No, bullshit, because if you have heard the reports, the Big Ten has said they will still hand down punishments if Michigan is found guilty of anything. So they'll be double punished. So cool. That's apparently a thing in the Big Ten as well.
Hold on. Here's the thing. How can they can't, like, here's another way they screwed up, Jim, by not waiting till the end of at least after the end of the year to do this crap. They've now concluded, allegedly, or have been forced to conclude, or found some way to balance
Allegedly.
out. Thank you, sir. Some way to balance out the alleged sign stealing that everybody's allegedly doing. By the way, please don't hit all the allegedlys. I'm using that a lot, but hasn't that been neutralized now? To your point, they didn't have to steal signs from the playbook. Penn State was handed the goddamn thing and still spanked like a redheaded stepchild. All right? You've taken Harbaugh off the sideline. He won't be there for Michigan and Ohio State. And oh, by the way, any team worth their salt is now changing their signs if they believe this is as true as their letters allege. Don't
right. Right.
Okay?
I did see that it was an easy win because Michigan knew what they were doing. I'm like, okay, if James Franklin didn't change signs knowing this was happening, he's a worse coach than I already thought he was.
Well, and maybe this is why they fired the offensive coordinator. I don't know. But here's
go ahead.
Here's the conclusion of it, though, Jim. At this point, Ohio State will have a shot to beat them knowing all of this.
Mm-hmm.
And if they still get beat, what leg do you possibly have to stand on at this point?
Then what? Another comment here from YouTube. The report handed the Big Ten already include a list of infractions the NCAA could prove. But again, there's that word, could prove. Until proven, they are not guilty.
Yeah.
Like, what do we not understand here?
If those exist, and no disrespect to
if the club don't fit, you gotta quit.
Right? Like, and listen, no disrespect to the commenter, but if those exist, why aren't they released yet?
Right.
What are we doing?
Right. Oh, maybe because it's an ongoing investigation and it should be concluded.
Or maybe possibly too, it's just not bleeping there.
Right.
What about that?
Right. Maybe there's not the smoking gun people think there is. But anyway, let's hop off of the Michigan horse. Let's go to the bad. EJ, what was your
myrtleizing your own ugly for the good, bad, ugly segment?
EJ, what was your? Well, if you don't come prepared for multiple, then that's a you problem.
Oh,
it's like coaching for Penn State and not changing your sides.
Guys, I think they're going to run on this play. What the fuck are we going to do? EJ, what was your bad from this past weekend?
My bad. It was my bad last week too, but it's getting worse. The Buffalo Bills, 5-5, out of the playoff hunt right now. Currently, well, in the hunt, but
out of a spot.
A mix. Yeah, you know what I'm saying.
You're just going out of your way to get.
But now it's the optics. Now they fired Ken Dorsey, offensive coordinator, this morning. Elevated Joe Brady to OC. You have now Stephon Diggs' brother Trayvon Diggs now tweeting that get his ass out of there now. It's adding more fuel to the fire about a possible dissension between Josh Allen and Diggs. Is this all bad? And like again, I said on the show last week about this Denver game being not a gimme game, but a game that should win. And Denver outright wins the game.
I mean, they should have won. If Buffalo is as good as they are alleged to be, they should have won that game.
Right. And now you look at the schedule, you still got to play. Well, you got the Jets this week. Again, should win the game, but they lost it.
They already lost to them once.
Right, exactly. You got the two Super Bowl participants from last year, back-to-back weeks: Chiefs, Eagles, Dolphins, Cowboys, Chargers, and then the Patriots. The Patriots will be winning, of course. But my point is that schedule.
By that point, that Patriots game might not mean shit for the Bills.
I mean,
let's be honest.
So I asked the question here too now with the Cowboys. The Bills. I mean, it's clear. It's safe to say that this Super Bowl window's closed now, right? We can say
no.
The Super Bowl window has been closed for a time. The playoff window isn't closed yet.
No, I'm talking about Super Bowl window. Playoff window's still open.
I said what I said. Okay,
just for the season.
I don't think
when you talk window, you mean like this team as a general structure right now.
Right. Let me frame it. This core outside Josh Allen, of course, with the coaching staff. I don't see this team with this core being a Super Bowl contender at this point now until they shake up the score again.
That I'll agree. Okay, that I'll agree with.
Yeah, this core may not exist this time next season if this disarray continues.
Oh, right, and that's the point. I think that's the point. Which I will agree with. Yeah, I think if you want to make Josh Allen the foundation of the core, and get Diggs out of there, make changes at receiver, defensive changes. I mean, Von Miller. I mean, he's this had possibly his last season, so there's going to be changes, right? There's definitely going to be changes. So yeah, I would agree. The Super Bowl window, when you quantify it like that, is closed.
Yeah, Sean McDermott, you think he's on the hot seat now with this or no?
Inevitably.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so. And especially if you're sitting at 5-5 and over the remaining 6-7 weeks, if you're talking 4 or 5 losses in that bunch, and you all of a sudden go from a possible AFC championship contender to not only out of the playoffs but under double-digit wins, shit got real really fast.
Like I knew it'd be tough. I knew it'd be tough here for them because of the schedule, but I didn't think it'd be this bad.
Yeah, no. For the last multiple seasons, I've called into question the the true quality of the Buffalo Bills. I did not see it going in this direction this quickly. But yeah, I think drastic changes probably do need to happen for this team to take the next step.
Yeah.
Kyle, you're bad from this weekend.
Listen, Jim, maybe you've made me a full convert. I don't know. But the fact that we're having a conversation still about FSU's win over Miami being tantamount to Washington beating Jim's Utes is just fucking disgusting. What the shit are we doing here? A team who has a coach who doesn't know how to kneel the goddamn ball versus a top 25 team who's supposed to be allegedly the only team in the Pac-12 that can play defense. Go ahead and hit it, Jim.
Wait, which one I may hit? I was
allegedly.
looking at something else. Oh,
allegedly.
There we are.
You said, wait, you got a problem there. Do I need to quote Colin Cowherd for your status here? Or
I was just looking at something else.
Oh, I got you.
But nonetheless,
Don't do math.
there we are.
As tempted as I was to have you go to the Morning Star for my bad and bring up the Atlanta Fraud Cons losing to the Cardinals when I was assured by multiple parties, shouts to my guy, the madman Mark Mancini and Danny Thompson. Thank you, sir. The Falcons are not a good football team.
Look, all due respect to the madman Mark Mancini, but if that's one of the sources for any sort of a lock or a guarantee, there's a reason the man's called the madman.
Hey, okay, then how is Danny Thompson off the hook?
Well,
Here, let me help you. Homer.
I'm gonna say, yeah, because Homer, bad things happen when you start to trust your heart. You know what I mean?
I mean, listen, it's bad enough if you watch Fox News, of course. Apparently, if you watch Fox Sports, that's a problem too. Anyways, wow. With all that in mind, yeah, I'm still going to the disrespect of the West Coast and the Utes. Yes, I'm aware of the fact I live in Florida. That's how bad the stink is. Stop it. Put Washington in the top frickin' 4. Do the right goddamn thing, you sons of bitches.
Well, we'll see here in a couple minutes, and we will hold off on those until because I'll be able to get a graphic and all of that up once the rankings come in. So we will get at least we'll get through this.
Angry this week. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I even did a podcast on this yesterday. I'm the Florida State fan, and they should be dropping in rankings.
Even the hatchet humper says they shouldn't be in the top 4.
Like, there's no argument here. There's no argument.
No, they should not be in the top 4. I hope that they're not, but we'll find out here momentarily. My bad from this weekend. And look, I mean, again, this team had already won the year before the year began, but Colorado blowing a lead, albeit only a touchdown lead, but blowing a lead and getting their 6th loss of the year is a bad, because now your backs really are against the wall. And look, again, this team has already overachieved. They have already done more than people expected them to. But now you're in a spot where you need to win your 2 remaining games to make it to a playoff game. They are 1-6 in conference play. Now, a much deeper Pac-12 than we were expecting.
Yeah.
Than we were expecting.
Yeah.
But this weekend they will play Washington State. We'll predict that game in a couple of minutes. And then next weekend they play Utah. That game is a tall order at Utah to close the year.
You would think so, Jim.
And rightly so.
Hit the clap, Jamma.
So yeah, it's going to be a tough road. We'll talk about Colorado when we get to the predictions. Let's go to the uglies though. Kyle, what was your ugly from this past weekend?
golly, if we didn't already spend so much time on it, I would have obviously said the Michigan suspension and just the complete trash that's been handing all this down. But for my money, I'm going to go with the firing of the Buffalo Bills offensive coordinator. Listen, at day's end, the offensive categories that mattered were going well. Bad decisions in certain other places were also involved with the loss to the Broncos. I mean, listen, the Broncos have shown that if they're a team, if you F around, you will find out.
Oh, the Denver Broncos.
And as appropriate and hilarious as that drop continues to be, that's still the case. Now, am I saying they're as close to a playoff berth as, say, the Minnesota Vikings?
No.
Oh, no, that wasn't the bite I was hoping for, Jim.
Oh. Wait, where the hell did it go?
Yeah. I'm not going that far, but yeah, I just the complete free fall that this team is on is ugly, frankly. I know that EJ continues to pride himself on how much he thought they were going to miss the playoffs this year, and I get it. And frankly, all they have to do is win one or two difficult games, and they're still back in it. And winning solves everything. We've seen that with this team, but at this point, they are a hot mess. And oh, by the way, the next team on your docket, if I remember correctly, are the Super Bowl runners-up from last season. Good bleeping luck.
I guess the question. Go ahead.
Yeah. No, go ahead, AJ.
That's a question, Tyler, to use this. You say that. Do you have faith in them going on a 2-game winning streak based on the schedule?
They don't need to go on a streak. That's the thing. What I have faith in is that they will win the games on their schedule that are still weak. The Jets, with all due respect, the Jets are still a weaker team. I'm sorry. And they've only looked worse since they pulled off the incredible out your butt upset after, Aaron Rodgers had, the stamina that EJ Christian does to last in a game. But that was terrible.
You're terrible.
I'm just bringing you back down to earth, Chief. But listen, at day's end, as we analyzed on the Student of the Game report, bing, that there are still plenty, or there are still a couple bad teams. Everybody's already forgotten what they did to the Miami Dolphins, who were alleged to be the saviors. The problem is the AFC East is becoming a who that bleep wants to win this conference, division. That's the problem. You still have to make sure the Dolphins don't dolphin, homie. That's the problem. So, I have faith that they'll win the games they're supposed to, the rest of the games they're supposed to. I have faith that other teams may take the Bills lightly, thinking they got this. There's free fall. The Bills are just as dangerous. They're in a team, but with whom you F around, you will find out.
All right, EJ, what was your ugly from this past weekend?
Oh, God, here we go again. My ugly. Ugly is
your nose.
The New York Giants versus Dallas Cowboys.
No,
I'm not done yet. In 2023, not just on Sunday. This entire fucking year. Do you know they've been in the 2 games they played this year? They've been outscored 89-17.
I didn't know.
Oh my God!
I did know that.
The hell?
89-17. That is disgusting.
I think it's great.
No one cares what you think, asshole. But
don't do the lazy. Don't do the lazy topic.
No. But because I'm in for tanking for Caleb, or who the fuck be the one pick next in the draft, I'm okay with it. But yeah, the Giants Cowboys game's been ugly. This entire year, ugly.
See, I think it's beautiful. Should have been good for me as well. Yeah, Giants stink. Nothing more to talk about there because we talked about it last week and the week before and the week before and the week before. My ugly. I'll go back to Unhappy Valley, but I'm not going to talk about Michigan. James Franklin both being unable to do math and trying to defend his ability to not do math. So Penn State was down 2 scores, right? They were down, I think it was by 15.
Mm-hmm.
And they scored, and like Gus and Joel are sitting there like, well, it looks like they're keeping the offense on the field. I'm like, why would you do that? Why would you do that? You kick the extra point, so then you go down 8. But they went for 2 then. They missed it. So they went from being down 15 to being down 9. And a text from a friend of my brother's and mine said that James Franklin is probably the only coach in college football who could be down 2 scores, score a touchdown, and still be down 2 scores. And then he defended it because he said something along the lines of well, we had the numbers and we felt confident about the score and we were just trying to get those points back. And I went, you made this worse.
Coach speak, homie.
Okay. Well, sometimes coach speak makes you look like a dummy.
Correct.
I'm sorry, because just take the fucking L, dude. Yeah, I forgot to ring the, I forgot to ring the extra number up above the 2 on that one. My bad. This one's on me.
For example, I can give you an example of a coach taking it on the chin where he deserves it, and he did it from moment 1 after the game was over. I have sources that have confirmed that Coach A, who won by 42 points over Coach B, right? Coach B said to Coach A being the victorious coach here, "You kicked our ass." Direct quote. In the press conference, "We got out coached." Direct quote from Coach B. He continued to explain how the rain wasn't really a factor other than the fact that they were already up by so many points, specifically 24 or 17, depending on what time of the second quarter you're talking about. Of course, I refer to the most gorgeous mullet in the United States of America, Mike Gundy, in response to being thrashed by UCF, which I covered personally at the Bounce House because I was there with the red. Oh, okay. I would have accepted Bing as well, but that was very creative there, Jim. But yes, go after him. And you want to know what's funny about it, guys? I've been in other press conferences with Mike Gundy. The YouTube video I saw of him giving this press conference was the calmest he's ever looked.
I'm a man. I'm 40.
So was it
well, technically now he's 50 something.
I'm 50.
Yeah, he's a real man. He's 50.
56 now, right? I think, right? 50, yeah.
I thought it was 56, but I don't want to be quoted directly because I don't remember immediately off the top of my head. The punchline is this: if a dude can graciously respond to a 45-3 loss, step your game up, James Franklin.
Yeah, for real, man. For real. But definitely an unhappy scene in State College this past weekend. All right, let's transition here to college football. The rankings are slowly pouring in. We'll actually talk about them and digest them here in a second.
Hold on, Jim. I can send you a picture of a trash can if you need a graphic.
once we have once we have the full rankings in front of us. But there's currently 5 undefeated teams. Okay, there's currently 5 undefeated teams at the top of the rankings. Where exactly they fall, we'll see here in a second. But again, as we always stress, we can get mad at these stupid rankings and the heaping, steaming pile that the committee feeds us each and every week. None of it really matters, right? Until after conference championship weekend. I get it's the foundation of which the later is built on. My same issue with preseason rankings. We don't have time for that now. But 5 teams who are currently undefeated: Georgia, Michigan, Ohio State, Florida State, and Washington. Each of them has 2 regular season games, potential conference championship games ahead of them. Which of these do you guys think is more likely to lose? And maybe there's multiple, I don't know. But which of these do you think is more likely to lose and throw this whole thing into chaos before we get to the end? So we'll start here. Georgia, they're at Tennessee, at Georgia Tech. They are locked into the SEC title game. They will play Alabama. Michigan, they obviously one of these next 2, one of them will lose. But again, we're talking most likely. Michigan at Maryland, home against Ohio State, and then they will have the Big Ten title game, likely versus Iowa. Yes, I know it's a joke. Ohio State.
Really quick, I only bring this up because this is thoroughly funny. It's completely classless that Iowa State is running up the score. Actual tweet read, it was meant in comedy because at that point, 22-3 was the score.
Ohio State, they host Minnesota. They go to the Big House in Michigan, and then, assuming they win, they would play in the Big Ten title game again, likely versus Iowa. Florida State hosts North Alabama this weekend. They travel to Gainesville to play the Florida Gators next weekend. They would have the ACC title game, likely against Louisville. And then Washington, they are at Oregon State this week, host Washington State next week, and then the Pac-12 title game, likely against the Oregon Ducks. So EJ, out of those 5 teams that are undefeated, who is the most likely to lose before the final stand?
I mean, really, the correct answer is whoever you think is going to lose the Michigan-Ohio State.
So what you're
game.
trying to say is the correct Ohio State.
Who, fence sitter, who is the team that is most likely to lose before the final standings?
Ohio State.
Okay, thank you.
Ohio State. Because I mean, and the reason why, I think Georgia's surging right now at a point now to where they're almost on level they have been in the last 2 years. That game's Ann Arbor too, right? Michigan, Ohio State's in Ann Arbor, right?
Correct.
Even more reason why Michigan, Ohio State. Florida State's schedule is the easiest of the bunch. I mean, there's some trust things there also with the Noles playing a little closer to the club, obviously, you know. But I think they should close the deal on that. Washington, that's a tough schedule ahead of them, right?
The correct answer is Ohio State and Washington,
right?
To be clear.
Yeah, I mean, I'll go Ohio State. I'm going to say Ohio State. I'm putting it in the year. That's why.
Okay, you pick just one, and you pick the easy one. I'm going to pick 2, and the answer is Ohio State.
Well, you said one. You said one. I mean, Washington obviously.
I said what team is most likely to lose, and I said in my intro to it, if you're paying attention, would be there could be multiple answers.
Bitch.
I mean, Washington. I mean, shit, they could lose this weekend against fucking.
That's the point. That's the joke.
I don't think they will. I think Washington's
gonna. The joke.
I think Washington's gonna do their job. I think.
But it's likelihood, homie. It's likely.
I'm gonna go Ohio State. I'm so.
Sure.
I think Michigan is seething. That game isn't Ann Arbor too. On top of that, I think they're seething. I'm putting into the stars. Fucking Ohio State loses.
Listen, and you're right there, which is why Ohio State's the easy answer, okay, with your fence-sitting self. But we've cited many times on this very show where both you fence-sitting mamma jammas, I said it, where both you fence-sitting mamma jammas agreed with me that Washington stretch would be ridiculous, okay? They still have to clear that stretch and then face a rematch of what DJ and I believe is the actual best win of the year, not Texas frickin' Alabama, even though the rankings agree with us and all their garbage. But we don't have to talk about that until later, right, Jim? But with all that in mind, with the more difficult docket and an Oregon rematch, the most likely loss candidate next to Ohio State has to be Washington. And because there's multiple games in terms of using statistics, all Ohio State has to do is find a way to limp past Michigan and get lucky. I don't think it happens either. Hell, even if JJ McCarthy gets hurt, maybe they'll still run the goddamn ball down their throats. I don't know. But Washington has a much harder road to finish the season by comparison, and it's not close. Yeah, so they have to be in the conversation in my mind. Like for all the talk, for all the people who are hyping up Washington, included myself, and let's say they actually get the number 4 ranking. What if they start reading too many of their own clippings? There's still enough there for Washington to be in trouble.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think Georgia loses, period. Right. If to anyone, it's Alabama in the title game, but I don't think this Alabama team has what it takes to beat this Georgia team at this point.
You say that, but I think they're in 3rd place. I think that Alabama game is tougher than anything else that anybody else is facing on the list.
That I will agree with. Because again, you're gonna have Nick Saban. I mean, again, it's a week to prepare after the final game of the season, but Yeah, I mean, these two teams know each other, right?
I mean, after all, this Kirby guy is pretty smart.
Oh, I see what you did.
By the way,
yeah, I mean, Florida State's got the easiest road. I mean, both Michigan and Ohio State, the matchup in Ann Arbor is the hard part of that road,
right?
Not the Big Ten title game.
Right.
But yeah, and the Washington is a tough one as well. The rankings are in. I have a graphic prepared here for the top 6.
While you do that, Jim, I'll make a note that I will send you the from the opening of CSI Miami for future puns.
There you go. All right. So we do have a change at the top.
Yes. It's about time.
No, this is actually
no.
Yahoo Sports fucked this graphic up.
4 and 5 is still the same.
Yeah, Yahoo Sports fucked that graphic up. By the way, that's
what? Oh, I was so excited.
Well, I'm grabbing. Well, no, okay. So I can grab this one quick. But the top.
Thank you.
The top 6
sports.
Well, okay, I'm grabbing the first thing I can and trying to do this on the fly.
Sports,
fucking ESPN.
There you go.
Which is a general whatever to live by. But your top 6 are Oregon 6, Washington 5, Florida State 4, Michigan 3, Ohio State 2, Georgia 1.
Yay, Florida State, but they got it wrong.
So yeah, so they did make the change at the top.
They did.
Ohio State still too high. Florida State still too high. But yeah.
Hey, we want to keep Florida State in the top 4. Well, everybody's can complain. Well, how do we fix that? Get Ohio State the fuck out of there. Then everybody's forget about the fact we left them 4th. Awesome. By the way, that's a dramatization of the ACC members of the committee, probably.
Probably.
But reaction to the rest of the top 10 outside of the top 6, Texas 7, Bama 8, Missouri 9, Louisville 10. So not a lot of surprise there. Penn State finally out of the top 10, and rightly so.
I mean, and rightly so. Yes.
Look, I'm glad they put Georgia 1. Georgia should have been number 1 this week. Again, I think Michigan should be 2, but again, that'll play itself out.
Michigan should be 1.
Look, as much of a Marge that I am here, when Georgia played the number 9 team in the country and just embarrassed that ass all over CBS Saturday night, I'll give him the edge at 1.
Okay, but
I think it's close.
But what about embarrassing the alleged number 10 team up and down the field? Granted, it doesn't show up in the score, but running the football doesn't score as many points as quickly, and doing it without your goddamn head coach on the sideline. What about that? What about those points?
Here's the deal, man. If you want to put Michigan at 1, I am not going to argue with it.
You just tried to, but
1 and 2 should be Georgia and Michigan. How you slice it? It's 1 and 2.
I mean, I think that the thing that this panel is trying to say is fuck Ohio State. That's basically where we're at.
It's always
yeah. I mean, they should be 4 at best. Maybe 3. Maybe 3.
Give them the edge over FSU. Absolutely.
Okay, but so we have 1 and 2, Georgia, Michigan. Those should be our number 1, number 2. You want to put Michigan at 1, you want to put Georgia at 1, fine either way. Who should be number 3? Washington, Ohio State, or Florida State?
See, I was trying to avoid you asking this question because I'm not prepared to go on record for this there and jinxing this team for all the prediction I've made in August that you're now asking me.
And I'll say it, the correct answer is Washington.
God damn it, the correct answer is fucking Washington.
It's Washington.
They have the better win of any of those teams. Because here's the deal. Here's the deal. Ohio State's 2 wins are against a 2-loss Penn State team and a 3-loss Notre Dame team.
Did that hurt, Jim?
It's reality. I'm just dealing with it, Kyle. Washington's biggest win, is against the number 6 team in the country.
The biggest win in the goddamn year, period.
Yep, that's correct.
Yeah, show me anyone that has a better win than that. Go ahead. I'll wait. Oh, wait, you can't do it.
Now, Must I can't stand Ohio State. Must I can't stand Ohio State. They're still deserving a top 4 status. Number 4.
I would put them at 4.
No one's arguing top 4
Yeah.
for or against our top
Right.
4 for Ohio State. It's your sorry hatchet humping team that plays more powder puffs than a high school.
I mean, here's the deal. If you want to argue Oregon is better than Ohio State, I'll listen to I'll sit in the judge's seat and I'll listen to the evidence in question.
Well, Jim, it's
unlike Tony fucking Petiti. Anyway,
I see what you did there. By the way, as you wear your green, an appropriate stance to argue for Oregon, I would like to see you lightsaber duel with our Noller here on the panel on how Oregon isn't already better than FSU.
No, the only reason. Look, real talk. Who's better team? I would probably take Oregon over Florida State. The record plays though.
The game is over.
Right,
rightly so.
Right. However, Oregon has a loss. Florida State doesn't have a loss.
So what?
You're unbeaten. That's it. That's the only case I have for you.
Okay, the Ric Flair defense doesn't hold up here. If you beat a bunch of 8th graders, you can't say to be the best.
I wouldn't call LSU an 8th grader. I wouldn't call LSU an 8th grader, although LSU isn't as impressive now.
First of all, you only got LSU for a half, and second, that was months ago.
Yeah.
I was at that game. I barely remember it. I'm joking, obviously, but it was very fun.
And I mean, and hey, I have heard a very reputable source on the Student of the Game report say that Notre Dame should be ranked higher than LSU. So how good can that win be, right?
True.
I mean,
in fact, I'll go a step further.
Yes.
I think Alabama's better than Florida State. So if I hypothetically want to go back, if we're going power rankings like the NFL,
that's what it's supposed to be.
But not really, because the teams.
Really.
The purpose of the college football playoff rankings is they are supposed to rank in order the best teams in college football. Period. Not who has the best, not who is the group of 5 who has the undefeated record, and then the group of this many who has 1 loss, and then the group, and they can't even get that right. That's even the worst part. But it's not a grouping of undefeateds and 1 loss teams and 2 loss teams and so on. It is supposed to be a 1 to 25 ranking of the 25 best teams in college football. So, if Alabama's better, which maybe that's where I'm drawing the line, because I think Alabama should be above Texas, but I would in a perfect world, I'd like to see Alabama and Florida State play each other to prove who's actually better. Probably going to be Alabama.
By the way, when FSU gets knocked out of the top 4, I'd love to see that bowl game.
And yeah, and they probably won't unless they somehow.
The way they're ranking Florida State now, even after what happened on Saturday, tells you that as long as FSU does their job.
That was my point last week.
No, they haven't told us anything, frankly.
I disagree.
What if Louisville jerks off and they're not in the top 10 going into the conference championship? Then what? That is the only reason why FSU is still currently 4.
Right, but so and the committee's told us this most years is that where they have the teams is also where they're going to be if somebody doesn't slip up. Now, obviously, if Louisville slips up, Florida State slips up, then you start to get into some of those hypotheticals. But I think if Louisville stays in the top 10 and Florida State wins the ACC title game against Louisville, I do not see them coming out of that 4th spot.
Well, okay. Well, then the question I asked
out of the top 4
is what took Ohio State out of the top whatever. Is it really just Penn State losing a second game? That's all you got?
I think it was Georgia throttling Ole Miss. Georgia played the number 9 team in this ranking last week
and beat the fuck out of them.
Beat the brakes out of them, and they beat the current number 9 team.
I think it's
the week prior.
2 things combined is what I think.
Yeah. So yes, things, but again, we're looking at a top 4. Florida State has not been out of the top 4 in the multiple weeks we've seen these rankings. one of the teams ahead of them will come out. That's a fact. To me, that's a fact.
We've seen bigger surprises, Jim. That's all I'll say. And I'm clinging to hope
bigger
on
surprises, and I know one of the biggest sightings of that is going to be last year when everything outside of the top four imploded in and of itself. I don't see Washington or Oregon losing multiple games. Obviously, you have the Pac-12 title game coming up, but I like Georgia. I don't think is going to lose. Michigan, Ohio State, one of them is going to finish undefeated. Florida State's going to finish undefeated. Washington probably going to finish undefeated. If not, the team that's going to beat them is Oregon. They're going to come up in. Like, I think this.
Well, I think if Oregon wins, they won't be let in.
Depends what happens. Depends how the play shakes out.
Oh, then how the hell does that work? Like, if I don't know. If Washington can't leapfrog FSU, how does Oregon then do that?
I think if Washington wins out and wins the Pac-12, you'll have 2 wins against the top 6 team. I think they do leapfrog Florida
because
State.
It's the same team, and the committee's fucked other teams on this before. Because it's the same team, they won't hold it the proper.
I think the bottom line is that
I think damages Oregon's ranking because they have 2 losses, and then by extension pulls down further Washington. In other words, they actually get penalized for winning a second fucking time.
I think what's clear, though, based on these rankings, is that there's going to be a massive premium on being unbeaten at the end of the rope.
Yes,
if you are unbeaten with no losses, no blemishes,
which is what will hurt.
Get in.
Which is what will hurt Michigan or Ohio State.
Then I don't want to hear anybody else talking shit on UCF and the 2017 team because they were undefeated and no one gave a fuck.
I wish I had let it go on the soundboard.
No,
I think
let it go all you want. Those are still facts.
I feel like
you still have to explain to people that the Collie Matrix exists.
I feel like the only team in the top 4 that might even get a little bit of a leniency if they lose is Georgia. That is it.
If they lose to Alabama and it's close.
If Michigan loses in the conference championship, they're still getting in. I'm calling it.
No. Ohio State. No, I didn't lose that game is out.
No, if the winner of Michigan and Ohio State loses to Iowa, they will not be in the top 4.
I'm not buying because we just saw precedents last year where the loser of a
you're talking about a year when everything below the top 4
losses
gets grenade bombed. Kyle,
Jim, last year
here's the part I will give you, Marge. With everybody currently hating on Michigan the way that is, it's pretty clear, and Joel Klatt has made this point too, it's pretty clear that the committee is thinking of this as well. So they will not give Michigan any leniency. That's the point I'll buy.
Jim, last year, how many unbeaten teams you had in the top 4 in the last year?
Without
2, 1, if that?
Why don't you do your own fucking research?
No, it was Georgia. It was Georgia, and I think.
See, he's still going to make you do it.
Georgia, no, it was Georgia. I actually remember this. Now, it was Georgia and Michigan was only 2 teams that were unbeaten last year in the playoff 4. Ohio State got in as a 1-loss team,
and so too did TCU.
TCU lost in the conference championship game. Yes, so there's only 2 unbeaten teams last year in the top 6. This year, you have a situation where you have right now currently 5.
But on the strength of wimpy, sorry, disgusting schedules. The whole reason we got rid of the goddamn BSC was allegedly because of teams skating by with easier schedules.
True.
For example, historically.
But if you're sitting there saying Penn State is overrated, you're sitting there saying Louisville's overrated, then how many good fucking teams do you have in the college football then? There are only 8 good teams in college football?
Okay, you want the answer to that? I can name you 4 teams that belong in the playoff right now, and one of them has a loss.
Oregon.
By the way, I can make a defense of Texas.
So what you're saying? Your top 4 should be Georgia, Michigan, Washington, Oregon.
He did say that.
Is that not what I just said? But moments ago,
it's on the podcast earlier this morning as well. So yeah, to be fair.
Hashtag consistency. Something you may want to take a lesson on there, EJ Christian.
No, I don't do that.
Obviously not. We've seen full time.
Oh, coming up later.
but see
Well,
that
later.
but yeah, but like to me, like that's where and maybe I'm putting too much faith in the committee. We'll see.
You, with all due respect, Jim, you already know my answer.
As the thing plays out. Well, yeah, but sometimes, well, never mind. I'm not going to say.
We'll just say more on that later.
Okay, go ahead, Jim. Go ahead.
But so I mean, Georgia almost feels like a lock. I mean, it would have to take some sort of epic collapse over these final three. But I think because of the schedules of Ohio State's schedule, and they didn't look impressive even in their two biggest wins. I think a loss gets them out of the way. Again, this is assuming that Florida State wins out, that Washington and Oregon end up under one team undefeated, one team, one loss in the Pac-12 title game. Like I really do think that it'll be Georgia, because I think they are going to win out. Winner of Michigan, Ohio State, and the Big Ten, aka Michigan. They'll be 2. And then I think it'll be Florida State and the Pac-12 champion. I do not see this committee, based on the consistency we've seen with them so far, with Florida State holding at 4, the two Pac-12 teams holding at 5 and 6. I think that a Big Ten team that will be sitting at home when another team, particularly because I think the battle, as it seems to be playing out, is going to be the loser of Michigan, Ohio State, or the winner of the Pac-12.
By the way, as a quick side note, if consistency is your defense, then please allow me to quickly, and only as an aside of why I don't buy the consistency argument, Texas's existence still in the spot that it's at after a team that beat them just got whooped by a new incumbent in the Power 5. You do remember that Oklahoma lost the Bedlam game, right? The only loss that Texas has is what? Oklahoma. And Texas was not penalized. So then how was Ohio State knocked out of number 1? Are they rewarding Georgia? Maybe.
Yeah, I think they're rewarding.
That's all it is.
Well,
I think it's complicated.
Okay, then where? I don't know. That's still not enough for me. It doesn't make any sense.
I mean, I didn't. Obviously, we're on the air. I didn't have a chance to hear any of the discussion as to why Georgia was moved up.
Oh, I could do a dramatization of the explanation. Wah, 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 wah. Okay, let's move on.
Right.
I think it's simple, honestly. It's Georgia, and that's it.
I'm not mad at Georgia being 1, by the way. I have bigger issues with Michigan being 3, but that's a whole other conversation.
Right. Yeah. But again, that will solve itself next Saturday.
Later.
Is it safe to say that it's a 8-team race at this point now? The demarcation is 8 teams now.
No.
Right? It's Texas, Alabama.
I don't think Texas is.
No, I think it is a 5-team race.
6
with no.
You taking Oregon out?
Okay, when I say 5 teams, I mean Pac-12 winner.
Copy.
So theoretically 6 teams, but in reality 5 teams.
Let's do this quick then. The teams that are below. So obviously Alabama has a path. They beat Georgia. They're in. Obviously, so right? I would assume, right?
Not necessarily.
Here's the
you don't think so?
I've heard. Here's the theory I've heard about other guys that are in it. Sitting around the Jacksonville Jaguar press box at Everbank Stadium. The theory is that should Alabama take down Georgia, they may have effectively eliminated the SEC from the top 4.
Oh. Assuming Florida State wins, assuming Big Ten winner.
Yes.
Who am I missing? Pac-12 winner. That's 3.
And then they I know some people that were even trying to give Texas a path. Should Washington lose?
I mean, the problem in the counter argument to Texas is the fact that they have Texas at 7, not Alabama.
Here's the thing, though.
So like that's what the committee's telling us, right?
If Bama has beaten Georgia, that means Texas beat a conference champion to make their way. And now, of course, you're also assuming that Texas can follow through
and win the Big 12, right?
Right.
Right, because if they lose, they're toast.
Now, of course, that's a bullshit argument, in my opinion. But the that's dumb enough for something for the committee to buy.
Right.
At the same time, I can see a scenario where you say both be out. That could be also an opportunity for them to put 2 SEC teams in there now, because if Georgia loses in a close one to Alabama, And I said earlier, Georgia might have a little bit of leniency.
And there's too many good football teams this year to put in a 2-loss team, EJ. That's the only defense against that.
No, not Bama. Georgia loses, I'm saying.
Georgia may still make. I mean, that's what I said.
If Bama wins a close one and other weird things happen,
right?
Then Bama and Georgia could both.
I said that I wasn't laughed out of the building. They're like, well, I don't think so, because they were respectful about it. But yeah, I mean, I agree with you, EJ. Like a non-conference champion.
I would think that on top of Bama winning, you would probably need the Big Ten East winner to lose in the Big Ten title game, and probably
or at least be close. If you're close to an Iowa team, that's a bad look.
Yes, but if with Georgia, I mean, it does get murky.
If all you got to do is leave it in the committee's hands when it's weird, because then at that point it's the Kevin Garnett. Anything,
and they can say that it's an NCAA issue, but maybe if it's Michigan because of all the extracurriculars, if it's a close win over Iowa and Bama beats Georgia, then maybe they go, maybe Michigan doesn't belong here, and goes whoop and just pushes them.
So you guys are saying there's no path of Texas whatsoever?
I'm not.
A quote unquote realistic path, probably not.
They have a Cincinnati's chance.
But right, if the Big Ten winner and Florida State lose, and Oregon barely beats Washington,
would you prefer if I had said it? They had a Bearcats chance with that,
and a Texas, and Texas wins the Big 12 title game by 30. I'm not going to say they can't get in, but they probably have the longest shot out of the
path. The path is Alabama winning the conference championship. If they don't, we're not talking about it. Anything else?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
That's step one.
Because the Bama win,
I think it's more likely for us to see 2 Pac-12 teams, depending on what happens.
Yeah, Devin hits a great point here. So I just want to put this out there: this podcast will never get sponsorship by the Big Ten.
I don't think that's accurate. Michigan may hook us up.
Yeah, I was going to say I'll be contacting Michigan's offices.
Marge.
But yeah, Tony Petiti could take his money and shove it up his ass. So yeah, let's go to the college football. The predictions for this weekend's games. We'll try to move through these pretty.
We still do those?
Oh yeah, sure. Why the hell not? Since there's only 3 games where top 25 teams are playing each other, and now
Jim gives a damn.
For these, I did use the AP poll rankings because fucking ESPN made tonight a fucking nightmare. We will operate off of the AP poll for this week. We'll get back to our normally scheduled bullshit rankings next week. But I'm going to start with a game, and I talked about this team in my bad. 4-6 Colorado at 4-6 Washington State. Washington State 4.5 point home favorite. 64 is your over under. This one Friday night 10:30 Eastern time on FS1. What do you think, guys? EJ, who you got here?
I'm gonna go Colorado, man. Fuck it. They'll win outright. The end of Schneid finally, and I'll take the over.
All right, Kyle.
While I appreciate your lack of faith in Washington, as I've had in past years in that program myself, and rightly so.
Washington State.
Excuse me, I meant Washington State. I beg your pardon. Yeah, you guys know I'm a Husky stan. Woof, motherfuckers. Anyways, so over. I do have Washington State covering. Listen, if you can't protect your quarterback, it just doesn't matter. Especially when the quarterback in question is your coach's son.
Yeah, look. I mean, I've never been a Deion guy. I think it would be cool if Colorado could get into a bowl game this year.
Dude, I would try so hard to get credentials for that.
But I just don't see it. I think this team is working to find its identity. I don't think they'll find it this year. I'm going to take Washington State to cover, and I will take the over in the Pac-12. Devin says Washington State in the over as well. All right, we go to Saturday 2:30 Eastern time on the Pac-12 network. It is number 16 Utah. They are 7-3 at number 19 Arizona, also 7-3. This one is a push, gentlemen. 44.5 is your over under. Kyle, we'll start with you.
Shoot, I misheard what you said, Jim. What was the game again? I'm so sorry.
Utah at Arizona.
Oh, bruh. Yeah, Utah all day. I mean, give me the over anyway because it's the Pac-12. But listen, your Utes are going to handle business. I got you that. Yeah, so that's all I have to say about that. Utes, over.
EJ.
Yeah, give me Utah as well too. And yeah, I'll take over. Why not?
Is it a slight over?
What's the number again? 45?
44 and a half.
44. Yeah. A rare Pac-12 low over under.
Oh, yeah. So slight over.
Right.
It's a few teams in the conference that have been alleged to occasionally play defense.
Right, but I think that this game will go in the 50s. So,
I will take Utah to win, and I will take a slight over. I don't think it gets into the 50s.
Devin taking an under as well in the
Utah on the under. I don't think the under is a terrible play. I probably if I'm a gambling man, I'm probably not touching this one.
If I'm a gambling man, the only bet I place is on Jim's Utes.
There you go. All right, number 1 Georgia 10-0, 10-point road favorite at number 21 Tennessee, who is 7-3. 59 is your over under. Saturday 3:30 Eastern time, CBS. EJ.
Yep, the dominance continues to Georgia as they trek way to three-peat. Give me Georgia -10 and give me the over.
All right, bold claim on part of that. Yeah, Kyle.
Interesting you claim the over in an SEC game. By the way, you know what I know you haven't done? Watched Josh Heupel at any great length, okay? When he's good, he's real good. When his offense is bad, is real bad. Consider last week against Missouri, another member of the Tiger family, and only scoring 7 points. His fast style of offense completely implodes because then his defense is on the field for entirely too long and is basically exposed. Well, I won't say Janet Jackson at a halftime show, but some other maybe Madonna in one of her books back in the 80s. I don't know. The punchline is this. Is that too old there, EJ? My bad. But
not at all.
Okay. So with all of the above,
old ass.
Wow.
But I love how you say that. He's older than me.
That's the joke.
Right. He's the. Never mind. Go ahead, Kyle.
By year, though.
Do I have to show off my hair again? Okay. Is this what we're doing now? I'm just saying. But by the way, for those listening to the podcast, no grades.
Fuck you, buddy.
Yeah, Joe Buck myself, right? Anyways.
Here.
Joe Buck yourself.
It's because you're hiding, EJ Christian. I see the salt and pepper in your beard. Moving on.
Wife loves it, so hey.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure your salt and pepper in your beard leads to salt and pepper in your social life. Anyways.
Push it real good. Anyway, go.
You saw what I did. Yeah, you make her want a soup. I get it. Anyways.
That's good.
What can I say except you're welcome? With that in mind, is that what she sings when you're done? Anyways, we're on a tangent, folks. What the hell was the? Oh, I'm kidding.
Georgia, Tennessee.
Yeah,
you said what you said.
It's blasted. EJ is completely correct on picking Georgia here. The over is the mistake. Take the under here. Georgia handles business. Heupel's not going to score enough to get your over, buddy.
That's what I was going to say. Georgia, they're going to cover the 10. They might score 50, but Tennessee ain't scoring. Tennessee ain't scoring 10. A fucking 10 to make it to the 60 to get that over. So give me the under in that one. Devin has Georgia in the over. Then last one here, the 10-0 Washington Huskies, number 5 in the nation, travel to number 10. Again, not in your playoff rankings, stupid committee. Number 10 Oregon State, who is 8-2 and a 2-point home favorite. In this one, I had to double and triple check that number because I was very surprised to see. Well, I guess maybe it's appropriate being the Huskies that they are a road dog. But
I see what you did there, you son of a beep.
But 63 and a half is your over under. Saturday 7:30 Eastern time on ABC. Kyle, we'll start with you on this one.
No. Listen, I've been high on Oregon State for most of the year and clamored for them to be higher than they've been, even despite being a team with a couple losses on their record. I think they should be top 25 no matter what. I wish there was a Pac-12 bowl game here, local here in Orlando, or at least somewhere I could travel to. I would love to see them in person. That being said, Oregon State defense is good by Pac-12 standards. People are concerned about Michael Penix Jr. and the Washington offense being a little bit, let's say, challenged of late, but still nonetheless winning football games. Take the over. That's obviously the smart play. It is the Pac-12. I'm going to pick Washington because I feel like I painted myself into a quarter to do so, as the number 4 Washington Huskies still have enough inspiration to continue to be disrespected by the committee and EJ's Knowles, because you can't spell Knoll without no bitch. Okay, bitch isn't in there, but you get
I see what you did.
Yeah, right. So yeah, that's where I stand. I got Washington and the over.
Oh, very good, EJ.
Yeah, same here. I got Washington the over as well too. I'm rooting for Oregon State to win because I need Florida State to have that room to get in the playoff. But that being said,
hey, if they don't, he gets some money. There you go.
But yeah, I like Washington. I think Washington continues this tough stretch of games.
No matter how this game ends, the winner is America. I think this is easily the best game of the week and could rank it as a potential top 5 game.
Oh yeah, it's not a good college football.
Is this 7:30 game or 10:30 game or what?
Again, pay attention. 7:30 Eastern time.
Yeah, to make sure. Yeah, okay. Yeah, give me Washington over.
Yeah, I think Washington should take the disrespect by the line setters in this game by making them an underdog and beat the living shit out of Oregon State. So give me them to cover, to win outright, because it's not even a cover, it's a win outright. And I will take the over because absolutely Pac-12 on a Saturday night.
There's no need to fear. Underdog is here.
There you go. That's a good soundbite, by the way.
Actually, that one is used pretty regularly on A7B in Sports and oldschool101.com with Captain and Company. Bing!
Devin has Oregon State and the under.
A Pac-12 under, Devin. Okay. I hope it hits, because otherwise I'm going to try
strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for him.
If that doesn't hit, I'm going to have to Morningstar you, Devin. I like you. I just don't want it to go that way for you.
It'll happen. All right, let's move to week 11 in the National Football League. Your 4 bye weeks are the Colts, the Patriots, the Aints, and the Fraud Cons. So playing accordingly. Saints, Falcons, Aints, Fraud Cons. All right, let's start Thursday night on Prime Video. Finally, the people who pay a premium cost to see a football game on a Thursday get rewarded. It only took 11 weeks. The 5-4 Bengals at the 7-3 Baltimore Ravens, a 4-point home favorite. 46 is your over under. This one, of course, Thursday at 15 Eastern time. EJ, we'll start with you.
Wait, you mean you didn't enjoy Carolina, Chicago last week?
Well, I podcast on Thursday, so I didn't have to watch that garbage.
Yeah, I fell asleep.
Shut your ass.
I fell asleep. I didn't watch 1 minute of that fucking game. Anyway, no. This is gonna be a great game. I can't wait.
That's just because you're old, EJ.
Well, that too.
The only person who goes to bed before you is G. Stelio. Damn.
And that's saying something. He's old too. Give me Cincy on the points. Actually, I think Baltimore wins this game, but it's a field goal game here, and I'll take the under.
I thought you said 4, Jim.
It's 4. It's 4. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll just. I see a 23-20. What was over again on this one?
46.
Yeah, 23-20 game here. Baltimore wins at 20-20. But give me Cincy the points here.
What EJ just said is don't bet the over-under.
I feel better about the over instead of the spread of anything.
Yeah.
So.
Nothing is over!
Kyle.
As much as I enjoy EJ's take there about how close this game could be, I feel like a touchdown actually decides this, because I don't think the kickers will be deciding as much, provided Lamar Demetrius Jackson's receivers catch the football. At the end of the day, they do have that guy Justin, who's one bad mother. Shut your mouth. That being said,
one bad mother.
Shut your ass.
No. I see gears turning for Kyle on that one.
I'm not sure how Isaac Hayes would feel about that, but
true.
But let me. I'm going to be brave for once and side with Lamar Demetrius Jackson. And please give me the under here. I am not comfortable. This is a high scoring game. Wait. No, never mind. I changed my mind. EJ's right. You're asking me to put faith in the Ravens defense. I can't do that. Yeah, give me Joey Burr. Shit, the over, I guess.
So yeah, it's the wild thing about this game is you have both teams coming off of a loss. You can argue if they're quote unquote bad losses or not. I think the Ravens one probably worse the way they handed that game away. So both teams really need a win. No, EJ, put your pants on. It's not a must win. But both teams really want to get a bounce back win. I think the game is much bigger for Cincinnati. And for that reason, I think I get Cincinnati with the road upset, if you want to call it that. So I think Cincinnati wins outright, and I will take the slightest of overs.
Could you argue, though, the Bengals, given the playoff picture?
Oh,
Wait.
This is your fault, Jim. This is your fault, Jim.
Jim, though, seriously,
blame myself.
They have the hardest schedule in the league moving forward.
Jim, can you give yourself an I blame you?
Yeah.
I blame you.
If they lose this game, they are pretty much done for the AFC North because they've lost tiebreaker to Baltimore. Okay, that's 2 losses to Baltimore this year. Okay, they'll be 5-5. Yeah, 5-5.
Yeah.
Okay, in the middle of a really strange AFC wildcard race right now, which currently they're not even in the playoffs that started today. So it's a close one from the Bengals as you can get.
The only reason why you have a good point here, is because the Texans beat them last week, and that's going to come up.
They're losing tiebreakers too on top of that. Yeah, tiebreakers. So yeah.
No, I'm not ready to sign off on it being a must win yet.
I think they'll get in, but I'm just saying though.
And here's why. Because even if you lose this weekend, Pittsburgh or Cleveland, one of them's going to lose this weekend where they tie, and that would help Cincinnati, right? And since he still plays Pittsburgh twice and the Browns once.
Browns own them for the record. I don't know if you know that.
That's not the point. The point is Cincinnati, to a degree, even with a loss this week to Baltimore, would still hold a bit of their fate in their hands, considering a team who is, and let's check the math here, a half game ahead of them, or no, 1 game ahead of them, Pittsburgh, since he plays them twice. And then when they play the Browns, they can beat them as well. So since he's still, to a degree, would hold their fate in their hands. Is it an important game? Absolutely.
This game,
EJ's defense,
close to a must win. Close. Slight under.
In EJ's defense, he hasn't used the words must win yet.
I know that was my fault. I shouldn't.
But I did. But
I blame myself.
A loss here pretty much shuts the door on the AFC North chances for them, though.
Right.
Pretty much.
Okay. Let's be fair though, too. I mean, even with a win here, I mean, yeah, you're a game back, but like, what did they do against the Ravens the first time?
They lost.
Especially.
Okay, so this would be a split of the season series, right?
Wait. The Bengals lose?
Or if they, even if they win, it's a split.
It's a split. The Ravens win.
It's the Ravens, and they'd still be a game behind, right? So, like, the division is, because of the Cincy schedule, which you hammered on, would be a bit of a long shot as well.
Yeah.
So I think the more realistic path to the postseason for Cincinnati, either way, wild card, and even with a loss, they control their fate a bit with playing Pittsburgh twice and Cleveland once.
But as often as I get beat over the head by the fact that the Ravens are an injury away, we're still going to do that? We're still having this conversation? You also have to assume Lamar Demetrius Jackson stays healthy, do you not?
Yeah, that's the assumption, of course.
Yeah, I mean, you're also going to assume that Joe Burrow doesn't get a re-injury of the leg as well, if we're going to play that game.
And well, here's whose record with that is better.
Oh, Burrow.
I mean, Lamar Jackson's struggled to finish seasons, but Joe Burrow's also missed the first month of like multiple seasons. So
I mean, that's the thing. Joey Burrow has only struggled to start seasons. He's not struggled so much finishing them.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. That's why I said not a must win. Very important game. It's bigger for the Bengals. That's why I think they win.
Watch it, man, my jammers.
Let's Let's go to Sunday, 1 o'clock on CBS. It is we were just talking about them, 6-3 Steelers at the 6-3 Cleveland Browns. Let's show you how good my defense is game. Cleveland is a 4-point home favorite, and to that point, a 36.5 over-under on this one. EJ, we'll start with you.
Well, first off, bet the under.
Correct.
Yes, bet the fucking under. I'm gonna take Cleveland to cover here slightly.
How can you slightly cover? What the
I-
hell is that?
It'll be a close
They
game.
win
4
by
points.
5.
By 5 or 6 points.
Okay, I'm just asking.
I'm gonna take
talk shit.
17-10 Browns this week.
So they win by 7.
Yeah.
Which is like a field goal over I don't know that that's a slight, especially in a low scoring game.
Well, it's one score game.
Maybe I'm just arguing semantics.
Yeah. Give me Browns as 17-10, whatever the fuck, yeah. But that's it. Definitely under though. The under is the bet. If you gotta bet this game, bet the under.
Okay. Kyle.
Under for sure. EJ's nailed that like he's Ron Jeremy. Unfortunately, on everything else he's screwed. I'm gonna pick it for Kenny. I have the Steelers taking care of business.
Yeah, definitely the under.
It's a tough one, isn't it?
Like I wouldn't be the funny thing is, man, the way with both these offenses are playing and these defenses are playing, I wouldn't be shocked to see like a 9-7 game.
Can I put an asterisk on if Trubisky enters the game, it's an automatic Browns win?
Sure.
Trubisky or whatever the hell his name is.
Yeah, so I'll go Steelers. You know what? That's going to be my prediction. I'll take Steelers to cover the points, but the Browns win 9-7. and we're all worse off for it.
You fence-sitting mama Jim.
Yeah.
I'm predicting a game to finish with 16 points. Go fuck your fence sitting.
That's
the
joke.
Way under.
That's a joke.
Devin has Steelers and the under as well. Here's a game that if you want to talk about must wins, maybe on both ways if you want to keep playoff hopes alive.
Not a question.
Sunday 4:25 on CBS. The 4-5 Jets at the 5-5 Bills. The Bills are a 7-point home favorite. 40 is your over/under in this one, Kyle.
I don't know who's in more disarray right now, but I feel like it's the Jets. I'm going to say this in EJ's defense. I'm sorry, Jim. Like, I don't know who that wrestler is that says, I'm sorry, and then kicks the dude in the face, but that's me right now.
Shawn Michaels.
It's the Shawn Michaels Ric Flair clip.
Yes.
I'm sorry. I love you.
I listen, both of you. I'm sorry. I love you. Actually, Jim, I'm sorry. I love you. This is a must win for the Bills. Because
you know what? I would sign off on that. I would sign off
on me kicking you in the face. What the shit, Jim?
Well, you know.
I can kick that high. My flexibility is still that good, even at 45 or 44. Anyways,
I'll call your bluff on that in April when I'm in Florida.
Oh boy. It's 420. You might be able to numb the pain somehow. Anyways, listen, yeah, but I will take the Bills to handle business. Give me the under, but I will take the Bills to handle business, and I will if that happens too, I will be officially on the F Buffalo train that EJ is on.
All right, EJ.
Yeah, this game has like a lose town match. Like loser this game is just done for the year.
Yeah, I would agree.
Goodbye. I'll take the Jets and the points. Bills win though, Jets and the points. And under as well.
Yeah, look, I think if you're going anywhere near this game, I think it's the under. Josh Allen is the biggest turnover infracting quarterback. Infracting? It might be a word.
It is now, bitches.
It is now, motherfuckers. In this league, as much as it probably pains Stephen A. Smith. And yeah, I mean, every time you start to think maybe that Zach Wilson guy is starting to figure it out. Oh, there's the pick.
Nope.
I have to pick the Jets, right? Like I picked them to make the playoffs. I've had to commit to it. I'm still going to commit to it. It's going to further prove myself true about the Bills. So give me the Jets to win this game, but definitely take the under. 40 is your over/under in this one, Kyle.
Well, I mean, 40 is the over. 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 40
Devin says, "Don't give a rat's ass. I'll just be happy. The game ends in a tie." There you go.
See, that's the problem with having so many teams that wear green in your repertoire there, Jim. You've found enough paint to where now you're in a corner and you have the Jets too.
Hey, man, I picked them to make the playoffs. Little did I know that Ayahuasca Rogers was going to snap his Achilles 4 minutes into the first game.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't think it would be that early, but some of us said he would be an injury.
Oh,
I to tell you, but you wouldn't listen.
But here's the thing, and because I was talking to my brother about it over the weekend, that Aaron Rodgers just getting dinged up, and missing time in weeks, 4, 9, 13, 15, and 18, would be a lot less detrimental to the Jets than being out 4 minutes into week 1. The one thing Zach Wilson gives them that Aaron Rodgers wouldn't is the ability to move around out of the pocket. Because he has speed, but then he also does poor things with the football.
Speed
compared to Aaron Rodgers.
I know it just feels weird in a league where we have Lamar Demetrius Jackson and Jalen Hurts, and we're talking about
stop comparing them to uncomparables, okay?
It's just weird. That's all.
I'm talking about the alternative to what that team would have had.
I mean,
with that terrible offensive line.
Smoke him like he was on 420. See what I did at another reference?
That's my point. Is compared to what the alternative would have been, Zach Wilson at least can get you outside of the pocket. Anyway, Jets under. Let's move on to Monday night and the Kelsey Bowl, the Taylor Swift Fest, whatever the fuck we're calling it this time around, but it's a rematch of last year's Super Bowl. The media coverage will be insufferable. Most people will bitch about it, but it is Monday. It is 8-1 Philly off of the bye at 7-2 KC also off the bye. The Chiefs are a 3-point home favorite. 45.5 is your over under on this one. Of course, Monday, 8:15 Eastern time, ABC, ESPN, maybe a Manning cast. I don't know if there's one of those next week. But EJ, we'll start with you.
All right. Give me the Eagles win outright. Come off the bye. Both came off the bye, really, but still, Eagles. Like Eagles here. And that's the over.
All right. Kyle.
Now, +3 to the home team. Talk about fence sitting, Vegas. I said it. I'm not going to go with the over. I'm going to take all of these are good lines. This is a tough pick. Slight over. And let me go. I'm going to concede to my offensive lineman bias and side with Jason Kelsey. I have the Eagles.
I want to take the Cowboys homer pick, right, and just not take the Eagles. But based on what I've seen so far, the Eagles have been performing as the better team. Now, historically, Andy Reid coach teams coming out of a bye week are
awesome,
almost perfect.
Yeah.
Without looking up, I don't know what Sirianni's short track record is coming off of bye weeks. Actually, you know what? Give me Big Red. I talked myself into it.
You're taking the Kool-Aid, man.
I'll take the Chiefs. Do I have that? I might have that. Hold on. Hell. Oh, wait. Oh, yeah.
Every time you pick Andy Reid, that's the clip you use.
It is. Anytime I pick the Chiefs, that's what I got to do. Go Big Red. Oh, yeah. I will take the Chiefs plus, and I will take the over as well. I think we're definitely going to see offenses there. Devin has the Eagles and the over. Whew, gentlemen, we've been on a journey, but now we get to, you know what time it is.
And then, of course, EJ's going to yell at me if I don't dance because he's a hater.
Kyle, you know the deal. Kyle.
Okay.
You got to look. You only got to look.
Hand, EJ Christian.
Start on the right-hand side of the screen with the bottom five. EJ, what's your bottom five this week?
All right, bottom five, 28 Cardinals, 29 Bears, 30 Patriots, 31 Panthers, 32 Michigan. I don't care anymore. Giants. 32.
Okay, look, I know you hate the Giants, but I will chastise you.
Why are the Falcons not here?
The way I always chastise people when they talk about college teams being better than NFL teams.
Yeah.
Stop it.
Yeah.
Stop it.
Why
Why
the
are
Falcons
the
not here?
Falcons not here, AJ Christian?
Who do you take out?
The Cardinals, the team that literally just effing beat them.
Fair point.
Okay, that's
Get another
fair.
week. Get another week.
Another loss again. See, you're another bad start by you.
They are bad though. I will say that.
I just changed mine. That's a great point. I didn't even think of that. I just changed mine to put Falcons at 28 and get
What
the
can I say except you're welcome?
What can I say except you're welcome?
I'll stick to my 5 for now, but next week.
The only thing besides Fraudcon's Cardinals, the only thing I have different on mine is I have the Patriots at 31.
Okay.
That team is a fucking mess, man.
Yeah.
You got all the rumors about Belichick. You got fucking Billy Bailey Bippy Zappy,
Bailey Zappy.
Whatever his name is.
in the post game saying like, I can't say what I want to say. Like, dude, whatever the Patriot way once was, it ain't the fucking way anymore, my friend. That team is a mess, an absolute mess. They're lucky the Giants are as bad as they are.
Yeah. Thank God for that, right? Draft picks.
Yeah, boy. And New England fans, deal with it. Okay, just deal with it. Welcome to the club. Welcome to the world where it's not all sunshine and rainbows in the NFL anymore. You've had your time. It's just deal with it. Okay.
It's like a Cowboys fan. Who knew?
Yeah, you should
I
know
know
how
the Cowboys fan sounds like. It takes one to know one, right, EJ?
EJ, who's your top 10 this week?
All right, number 10. Here we go. To the Seahawks. Number 9, the Dolphins. Number 8, the Jaguars. 7, Cowboys. 6, Bengals. 5, Lions. 4, Ravens. 3, Niners. 2, Chiefs. 1, Eagles.
I'm sorry. You'll have to forgive my maniacal laughter because now he's finally gone back to a top 10 that has a semblance of exactly what I've been telling him for weeks. Give me the damn Morning Star, Jim.
There it is.
I tried to tell you, but you wouldn't listen.
No. I want his own son dunking on him again.
Oh, okay.
Jim Neese.
I tried to tell you, but you wouldn't listen.
Where'd I get it right this week?
A lot of places you got it right. You put the Jags back down where they should be. I might argue the Cowboys are a touch high, but I don't know where else I'd put them. The Bengals and Lions to me are interchangeable. The Ravens beneath the Niners is interesting, but I'm not mad about it. I still have questions about Eagles over Chiefs, but how mad can I get? We're going to solve for it on Monday. Yeah, this is definitely this part of it. You listen, the best grade you can get for this is a B because that's a big miss not having the fraud cons here.
For the overall, okay.
But yeah, the top 10, if we were grading just your top 10, this is easily your highest grade in the past 3 weeks, and it's not close.
All right, so over. Let's go.
Yeah, it's still your highest grade in the past 3 weeks. Your past 2 were pretty damn weak, comparatively.
Is the reason that the Lions are below the Ravens because the Ravens beat them a couple weeks ago?
Badly.
I mean,
Like, is that why?
That's definitely a good reason why. Yeah.
See, to me, and again, maybe I'm Marge a bit with the Lions, with my Lions, but like I almost look at that week as an anomaly. If the Ravens played the Lions again this week, I would take the Lions.
The reason why I'm going to side with him on the Lions is a team as hapless as we described the Chargers to be. They gave them 38 points and snuck by with a field goal. Whereas the Ravens, in a game they should have won, still managed to put up 30-something points on a really good defense. Now, you can come back and say, but Kyle, they allowed them to score 30 points. Well, no, they really didn't. The defense put up the first points on the day for the Ravens. So I'll put it this way. Struggling against the Browns, in my mind, is a lesser crime than struggling the way the Lions did against the Chargers. That's why I agree with EJ here.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah, I think you're close. Again, I think the teams in the tiers are in the right place. If you want to argue Chiefs over Eagles, if you want to argue Lions over Bengals, if you want to argue Dolphins over Seahawks over Dolphins, I wouldn't hate it either.
I let me go here, EJ. After your declarations of teams being tier 1 in the Bengals and the Ravens, and some of us prudently taking a step back before we do that, what do you have to say for yourself now there, knee jerk?
On the Bengals, I mean,
and the Ravens.
Oh, right. No, okay. So the 4 teams on top 4 are still tier 1.
No. Hold on. You're dodging the question. Let me rephrase it.
Okay.
You had a whole prelude, a whole monologue, if you will, a monologue with which you did eventually let me participate, and rightly so, because it's called the Student of the Game Report.
Yeah.
But I was told definitively that the Bengals and Ravens were now tier 1.
Yeah.
What's up?
Ravens still in there. Bengals, that's a tough loss on Sunday. I'm gonna reluctantly still say they're there, but this week can say a lot. If they lose the Ravens week, they're out.
One can't knock the other out of tier 1 entirely, can they?
I think more the Ravens can knock the Bengals out than the other way around.
So if they blow the Bengals out, you're saying the Bengals are out of tier 1.
Absolutely.
If you were smart, you would actually use the normal delay tactic that you use. They play each other and buy yourself another week.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I said, though. We'll know this week.
No. You just said the Ravens would blow the Bengals out with the blowout. That's exactly what you just said.
Well, I think if the Bengals, I would agree with that, though. If the Bengals lose this, I don't think the Bengals should be in tier 1, for the record.
Yeah,
but
either yet. There.
But if you want to keep them there this week, incorrectly,
reluctantly, I said
a loss to the Ravens would absolutely knock them out.
Yeah,
absolutely knock them out. Now
they're only there because
it's scary, of course.
They're only there because of trust. They built the
money.
But this is the week where if they win this week,
who do you trust? Hubba, money. Who do you trust?
I don't even need a blowout. If they just lose this game outright to Baltimore on Thursday Night Football, they're out.
Any loss, they should be out.
With the division physics of the AFC North, no, you can't do that. You can't
do it. Hold on. But Kyle, you just said the Bengals aren't in tier 1 now. So why would a close loss?
Okay, so let's set the table. I don't believe they are there now, right? My statement goes, if I had them both there, my belief is that one can't knock the other completely out without a blowout or something like that happening. Okay, so the premise was, if this game is close and I believed them to be tier 1, I don't yet. Could still happen. Could still be possible. Okay. I don't do what Trump as good as you. I'm sorry, EJ. Okay. But listen, I don't believe with the physics of this division that a close loss of one over the other says anything definitive to move anybody out of a tier 1 status. Okay. Now I don't know how the hell you put a team that's number 6 in tier 1, but that's a whole other question. So
because why wouldn't the Lions be tier 1 then?
That's I mean, listen, Jim, if you start making sense, that completely changes the name.
Why would a team that is 7-2, second in the conference, and above the Bengals in your rankings?
The rankings are more of a freeze frame of this week to some degree. Tier 1's more of a
much flowing conversation. Oh, because I trust them. Got it.
That's all.
That makes sense.
So anyways, to conclude my point, if I were these, like, let's just say, for example, the Eagles and Niners were playing each other this week and the game ended close, the other would not be capable of knocking the other out with a close loss out of tier 1.
That's fair. But I also think that the Bengals are, even if I believe incorrectly that they are in a tier 1 spot, they are teetering on the edge. The Niners and Eagles are not teetering near the edge.
In EJ's defense, he did say the Bengals were teetering.
Right. Right. So that's why I would agree with him too, that even a close loss would be the thing that pushes them off of the edge.
Well, and this is just our
Gravity's a bitch. My fat ass knows it.
Yeah, in division. By the way, hilarious. I think I still outweigh you. That's adorable. But at days end, I think you and I are just in different philosophies, which is fine. This is your show. You could be as wrong as you want.
The ego, I swear.
That is a disgusting.
Well, and to your point, also to Jim, we kind of stated that this is as close to the must-win for Bengals as you can get.
Yes, yeah,
without saying must-win, of course, but
without being the Bills
saying must-win,
without. So, like, if you want to throw a must-win incorrectly into the tier 1 incorrectly Bengals, that's your choice. I won't do it because neither are true.
Niners top 3? No problem with that? Niners top 3 again?
No. Like they should have been in top 4 for a while, but I know why you had them. Again, I established
I would put like I said, I would put the Lions at 4, and then you start to bring that question of like, well, they beat the Chiefs, so should they actually be 3? Because the Chiefs haven't been impressive to me.
Well, but still,
Mark,
you had a trust, who do you trust? Hubba, money.
And then a champs also too.
Marge, here's the issue.
Again, that doesn't matter for this year.
You haven't accounted for the augmentation that included Chase Young either. I think that was on display against the Jags.
Oh, and by the way, we also saw Trent Williams on the field again on Sunday.
Trent Williams, with an allegedly bad ankle, was out in front of a screen pass. I didn't know what to do with myself in that press box. It was crazy.
Yeah.
So yeah, Trent Williams back in the game, and Chase Young on the defensive line. That's enough to put him at 3.
Yeah,
I don't have a problem with them at 3 at all.
Yeah.
But yeah, not your worst work, that's for sure, EJ.
No, good top 10. Your bottom 5 is.
We have definitely seen much worse out of you this year, and I'm sure we'll still get there again. Before we leave for this week, let's get to the things that will happen.
You better lock it up. You better lock it up. No, you lock it up. Lock it up. Lock it up. Lock it up.
EJ, what's one thing that's going to happen this weekend? And please don't be lazy.
I have no choice.
You do have a choice. You literally have a choice. You were lazy with your bad. You were lazy with your ugly. So you know what? Let's go par for the course. Let's be lazy on our locks.
Fuck it. Carolina beats Dallas this weekend. You got upset the week. Carolina beats Dallas this week. Lock it up.
Oh, dang.
Lock it up.
I triggered him a little bit, Kyle. Did you see that?
Good God.
Well, I need him to. Well, I need him to because the Giants. I need that draft pick.
Well, aren't the Giants currently sitting at 2?
Yeah, Carolina's at 1.
Is Carolina really at 1?
Yeah. That one win only. So I need a swap happen.
God, EJ fell off the fence and fell into some overgrowth that he's choking on now.
Jeez, brutal. Kyle, what's one thing that will happen this weekend?
Setting the number at 4.5. Jim will go over next week with the word incorrectly here on the Huddle Up podcast. No. Why the hell not? In honor of Mikey Burr, who cannot be in the comments tonight, I will pick the Bengals to lock and beat the Ravens, which I think is a brave pick.
Lock it up.
It is a brave pick, but I like the spirit of the thing. Even though, I've been a little harsh on them this year, but definitely are trending in the right direction. The Devin, earmuff it for me. The Raiders will improve to 3-0 since making their coaching change. They beat the Miami Dolphins this week.
Oh my God. Who the hell? Well, Devin might.
Devin might. And EJ, the Dolphins fan, cares.
Lock it up.
Yeah. Here's a good lock also too. All top 6 teams in the playoff will all win next week.
That's lazy.
Well, I was hoping.
Are you talking college playoff?
College
yes,
playoff,
he is.
Oh, that's fucking lazy. That's fucking lazy. That's lazier than the Giants lose.
I'll let him have it on the strength of one game.
Washington.
That's Oregon State, Washington.
Yeah.
All right.
Lock it up.
All right. I'll give that to you. I give that to you.
Hey,
I wanted to fire the lock on North Alabama beating Florida State just to get a rise.
Just do it.
No. I'll stick with the Raiders, moving to 3-0.
I mean, that's similar.
I mean, that's painful enough considering their head coach is a former New York Giant, from a distant past when they actually had like a winning culture.
I just realized too that Florida State against North Alabama, no spread.
It's because it's a FCS school. They
Okay.
don't do spread. They don't do spreads on FCS.
Oh, right.
They stopped trying to calculate plus 47 or 68 or whatever.
They gamble.
All right, let's plug away, gentlemen. Wrap it up. There you go. There I got Devin upset too. So EJ, you're not the only one that gets mad. He says, "Screw you, Jim. I hope the Dolphins destroy the Raiders."
Destroyed? They already did?
Yeah, they already did.
They said past tense. Yeah,
I mean, to be fair, they probably already did. It's the Raiders, but
it's down here too.
I'm trying that new thing where I'm not a fence sitter. EJ, plug away.
And you're doing well with that too.
Yeah,
and
doing
rightfully
better
so.
than you are.
And rightly so.
Stop. I'm still making stop it. Anyway, Earth Week podcast called
Bro,
All
we
Podcast
told
Catchers.
you we tried to get you to pick gun to the head last week, and you fucking waffled.
That's true.
Okay.
You got me. You got me there. Anyway,
Plug
I'm on,
away.
I'm on Twitter /X EJ7.
You're apparently on X. That's why your picks are so bad.
Yeah, look on X day. Earth Week podcast across all podcast catchers. We Kyle and I did a
Doing the
report
game report.
today. Did a good
you
job
didn't
as
know the name
always.
of your own show.
We got Matt on the show tomorrow night as well.
Oh, look at that.
It's be fun.
Yeah,
and then next,
nice.
and then I think Jim's coming next week. We're gonna talk a little politics next week. Me, Jim, and
right.
Rob next Wednesday. Can't for that one.
God, I got so much fucking podcasting to do next week.
Are you serious?
Well, on Monday we're pre-recording 3 count.
PCT.
Tuesday we have this show. Wednesday I'm on with you.
Bing.
That's a heavy start.
You got a great social life, my friend.
Holy hell! What am I doing with my life?
Yep. So yeah, well, that of course, and of course, guys, my YouTube page also youtube.com/@ErnestChristian. That page is growing now. So
Yeah, you're getting hate about people in your FSU takes.
apparently,
And my FSU takes apparently too. Saying.
yeah.
All right, Kyle, plug away.
Listen, gentlemen, honor, joy, and privilege to jump aboard, even for all the trash I talk on EJ Christian and Jim Neese, and even Matt Muehlheiser while he goes cigar shopping. I love all of you, and I won't kick you in the face like Shawn Michaels did to Ric Flair.
I just want to see you get your leg that high. I don't actually want to get kicked.
I will simulate kick you in the face. You will be surprised at the flexibility that I hold, despite being allegedly 7'5". Of course, I am Kyle Nash, the student of the game. You can find me on Twitter at the SOTG. Find me on Instagram as the same, the SOTG, as well as Threads, the SOTG. Find me on Facebook as the student of the game. Check out my writings on the Jaguar Report of Fan Nation on SI. I write why the Jacksonville Jaguars, Duval Devout, don't need to hit the panic button just yet after this past week's situation. I don't want to call it a performance. It was a situation against the 49ers. And thank you, EJ Christian, for informing the public of Trent Williams' importance, just like I tried to do last month. Anyways, of course, with all that in mind, I will also be I'll be at Everbank Stadium for the Titans against the Jags there too, so watch for that as well. I will also be covering UCF heading over to Texas Tech there in Lubbock, Texas, as they go on the road. Only one of the next 2 games must they win to achieve bowl eligibility status in their first year as a Power 5 team after smashing Oklahoma State in ways that EJ's alluded to, but I don't want to insult anybody. Anyways, so check that out with the Black and Gold Banneret. Also going to be at men's basketball on Thursday for UCF via the Black and Gold Banneret. Check that out. I will be covering the Magic on November 22nd, so that's a while off. We won't worry about my work with A7B in sports immediately, but that will be coming there too as well. Also, Student of the Game podcast, 8:40 p.m. Eastern. Check that out coming up. And, of course, the Duval Dive at 11:15 a.m. Eastern. By the way, you can do all the above on all the podcasts and stuff like that. Should you miss a live stream, Student of the Game podcast is where you'll find that on Spotify, Apple Podcast, etc. An honor, joy, and privilege, gentlemen. But until next time, class dismissed.
Always good to see you, gentlemen. We did miss Matt this week. We'll miss him again next week, but we will be here.
Don't say that. He won't share cigars.
We
True.
will be back for another week next week as we get ready for my favorite holiday, Thanksgiving.
Mine too.
Yeah, dude, love to eat, man.
The best.
Clearly. But you can follow me at Big Jim Sports. But most importantly, make sure you are following along with the show. We are at Huddle Up Podcast, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok. You can get us on YouTube as well. At Huddle Up Podcast on YouTube. You can follow our Twitch channel as well, where we do air each one of our live shows. And I have some friends in the gaming community, so I may try and look into doing some like Madden or NHL stuff on there. So stay tuned. We might see if we can make something happen over there on that channel. So you want to be subscribed. You also want to make sure you're subscribed to the show on any and all podcast platforms. Rate and review where you can. You get our merchandise over at tpublic.com. Until next week, enjoy the games and stay safe, stay smart, and as always, go for the win.